Hello, and welcome back to the Amazing Justin. That's obviously me. This time I'm not following a teleprompter like I have done in my previous videos. I'm going to go through the story as I know it and remember it. So it's chapter 5 and it's called Prison and Blackpool. So it starts roughly about 1997 when I got a job at a fried chicken takeaway shop, restaurant. In fact, I worked at Worthing, Portslade, Hove, and London Road in Brighton. Now, obviously, I got a job as a trainee manager, and I was kind of floating between all the different shops. However, obviously, back in those days, trying to be openly gay was pretty hard, and a lot of the time, a lot of the people I was working with were homophobic, which caused a lot of issues. And at times, I was almost being paid less than some of the staff was because of the amount of hours that I was working. Even though I was salaried, it really felt like I was, not earning much money at all. Not only that, I was gambling, and I was also smoking a lot of weed because of the issues that I was going through. So anyway, one particular time when I was working there, I kind of had to get out of this place I was living in and found this new place, and it was above the store in London Road, and it was a flat above the shop, and all the people there were kind of like hardcore DJs and not very gay friendly. Of course, someone from the shop downstairs went and told them to cause issues in my life. So I ended up smoking a lot of weed. I was gambling a lot. All kind of an escapism. I wasn't, happy with my life at all. At one point, I was thinking about committing suicide. Going onto a platform and sticking my head out when a fast train goes past and end my life. But something inside of me was saying, you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting, the people that are around you, your family are going to be devastated, and I've got other plans for you. And I thought, so anyway, I decided that the only way I'm going to get out of this is I'm going to have to run. I haven't got any money, so the only way to find somewhere is to steal, and did not take this on lightly. And throughout the whole ordeal, I had to steal money from the restaurant, and this in itself was, for me as a character, was very unlike me, but I knew I had to do this in order to get out of this circumstance. So I stole £4,000, and the next day packed my bags, literally left my room in such a state. The people I was living with put me through so much hell, late night, staying up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and having to go to work at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning to set up. So I got on a train with just my backpack and got to London. Went to a bar, gave a drink, strong drink, downed it within a few minutes, and started playing a slot machine. Played that, winning a bit of money, and caught the train from Houston to Blackpool to Preston, then from Preston to Blackpool. As I was arriving or getting towards Blackpool, I knew that I couldn't keep the name Richard because people would probably find that out really quickly, and I would get caught, and I wouldn't be able to, have some form of life, or, and I knew Blackpool was a lot more gay friendly as I've been there before. So anyway, and I was thinking of different names, and I thought of my best friend, almost like best boyfriend, Justin, who had known for like 16 years of my life, and I really respected him, and he was a role model in my life, and he had everything that I wanted, yet I couldn't achieve. So I called myself Justin, and from that moment, I really felt like that was who I was meant to be. So I then basically went to a place called the Flying Handbag, which was a pub near Blackpool North train station. And obviously it was a gay pub. I didn't realise at the time, because I was thinking, like, I just need to find a gay pub so I can find somewhere that's gay friendly, so I can find a bed and breakfast. So I found a bed and breakfast. I stayed there for about 5 days to 2 weeks. But I knew that money was running out, because obviously paying £10 to £20 a night was expensive back then, and I knew that £4 was going to last me. So I then basically went to the pub, and then they were telling me that I met this guy. He said, I've got a flat, 2-bedroom flat, you can come down and have a look, and then we can see if you want to move in with me. So yeah, that's what I did. So I moved in with him, and then unbeknown to me, that he knew that I had this money, and I just started noticing money going missing. And then obviously I knew at some point this money's going to run out and I need to get a job. So funny enough, I made some really good friends at the pub, and they gave me a job as a bar person. So I did really well in that, and really had a good time, enjoyed my time, made lots of friends. And then this place where I was staying at, it was getting really difficult, and I was gambling and doing drugs, and kind of falling back into that lifestyle again. And I kind of really needed to get out, and I kind of thought, oh, do I commit suicide again? I was going to gas myself in the kitchen, but I knew that it could be affecting loads of people in that situation, and not in me killing myself, but other people. And I was not that person. I decided not to go ahead with that, and almost like a really strong voice in my head saying, do not do this, Justin. And so I didn't, and I knew there was a better way. So I literally, through a pub friend, said, you can move in with us. We're a couple, gay couple. So I moved in with them in a big tower block, amazing views. And anyway, I did that, and then I've been working there for like 6 months. And then unknown to me, but the owner, Basil, was looking out for me in trying to develop me and wanted me to become a bar manager. So he applied to get a license, and he then realized that I had a warrant out for my arrest. So then he got in contact with me. He said, you either own up, which I hope, if you're the person I know and respect, that you'll do the right thing. Obviously the other option is you run, but it's only going to catch up with you at some point, and it might be even worse than you've had before. So he said, I'll give you a number. Obviously, I can't employ you, so I'm going to have to dismiss you. So I rang the police, and I completely owned up and cooperated with them in every way. And they said to me, look, obviously you're up in Blackpool, we're not going to send anyone up there. We're going to get you to come down here in a month's time once we've prepared your case. So I did that, went to the police in Brighton, and got charged with theft from employer. I then got released on bail and went back to Blackpool. And they said, you'll be called back down again to attend magistrates court in Brighton. So month went past, thinking that, I'm going to go back down to Brighton, go to magistrates court. I got myself a solicitor through legal aid. And they said to me, like, this can go 2 ways, 3 ways really. So she said that, you could go to Crown Court, and that could be lengthy and could get a lengthy prison sentence, or could stay in magistrate's court, or it could be a numerous different community order or community different things, pay back the money and everything. But no, I went there, and the judge kind of like heard my kind of like situation in regards to the way my employer was treating me. I was being homophobic abuse, and basically knew I was gambling and smoking weed, and obviously is in this kind of like thing that I really need to get out of. And he's just stopped the court, and he's just said, look, we're going to adjourn the case, but I'm not going to progress this to Crown Court. I'm going to deal with this today. So we're going to come back in half an hour, and I'm going to sentence you. So at this time, I was like, oh my goodness me, what's going to happen? A solicitor said, yeah, you could be looking at a prison sentence or community order or different things. And anyway, we came back, and the judge said, really understanding the fact that you could have taken your employer to court and sued them for, the way they were treating you, but that could have dragged on for quite a while. So I understand the reasons why you did what you did. It is not your character to do that. However, I do have to serve the public, and therefore I am going to give you a 6-month prison sentence. Obviously, my heart sank at that time and thought, oh my God, what's going to happen now? I've never been in prison, and I've heard so many scary stories. And he said, but you've cooperated with the police, you've been honest, and so I'm going to give you a third discount. So you only have to, your prison sentence will be 4 months, and if you are on good behaviour, you could be let out in 2 months. Take him down. At that point, my heart sank. I thought, oh no, what's going to happen? I get beaten up or abused or whatever. And so it's going to Lewis prison. My solicitor just said, look, when you arrive, tell them your suicidal feelings, so they can look after you a bit more. And they did, somehow, someone, God, was looking after me, and he put all the right people in the right places. Yes, I had to go to a mental mental hospital to be psychologist, is one of the words I can. Anyway, for a few days I was in there. It was probably worse in there than it was actually in the prison. I then got to share a cell with some lads, and kept my head down, did what I needed to do, did my time, went and worked in a factory, worked in kitchens, and I then got the opportunity of having a tag around my leg and said, you've been let out of prison early, and so I only spent a month in prison, let out on a tag for a month, and I stayed around my friend's house, Justin's house, to serve out the rest of my time on a tag. Did that for a month. I then got released, and some little funny stories in the book, but anyway, then obviously I decided it was my time to go back to Blackpool. Rang my flatmates that I was living with, and they were happy and warmly welcomed me back into Blackpool. So that is what happened throughout this period. We're going to be looking at chapter 6 next, which is Blackpool Misadventures, and it's quite a short chapter, and so we're probably going to do chapter 7 as well, which is New Beginnings. But I hope you've liked this new video without doing my teleprompter bit, which is probably a bit more about me, and I hope you get to join me on my next video. Thanks. Bye.